The following is a presentation of the iRacing Esports Network.
So, you want to race in NASCAR. The road starts here. Introducing the eNASCAR Ignite Series powered by iRacing. This is the gateway for all aspiring 13 to 16-year-olds. Starting June 20th, ignite your dreams of one day racing in the top tiers of NASCAR. Go to www.iracing.com/ignite for full details.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to RaceSpotTV Friday Night Primetime, streaming live on iRacing Live, RaceSpotTV, and of course on the iRacing Esports Network as well. Self underway in just a couple of moments. Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to one of the cathedrals of endurance racing, and what a very, very good stage to have round number 4 of the iRacing Le Mans series, and not just Francorchamps, but Francorchamps in the depths of night as well. Your cars are out there getting their qualifying laps in. Only 2 qualifying laps for this series before they get themselves gridded up and racing. So we'll have the LMP1 cars, we have LMP2 cars as well, and we have the GTE fields to spice things up as well there. So you've been following this series for the start of it, for the first 3 weeks. I'm back, but just remind everyone what's happened.
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic. What we've had, of course, is the LMP1 battle, the battle that's been going on with Porsche and Audi. That has been fantastic to watch. On top of that, we've also had ourselves the LMP2 class, which really has become the kind of new mini field, the midfield that we really enjoy seeing. And then, of course, GTE to spice things up a little bit there as well. And I tell you what, I don't think that we've seen endurance racing as fun to watch on a Friday night in quite a while, Connery.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hope this race does continue on that trend, as we are coming towards the end of qualifying, just 5 seconds before the session ticks over, and then your drivers will head their way towards the starting grid for today's event. And why not? Let's get the rundown of that.
We have to wait. Carry on, Connery.
Just a couple of moments before we get that one done, but I can say that Marcus Hamilton has got himself pole position for the LMP1 field, right next to Patrick Wolf. The front row of your LMP2 field is Aurelien Talmon and Pascal Stix there in the number 31, and GTE, Gianni Vecchio and Mikko Melkila will round out the front row of that particular field as well. We've got about 12 LMP1 cars, 11 LMP2 cars, and 19 GTE cars for this event, so should be pretty frantic.
It should well be. And the thing about this race as well, Connor, is we are racing under the light, and that is going to make things really interesting. And there's not much in terms of natural light here at Francorchamps. So these guys literally are going to be relying on the headlights and the maneuvering of all the guys around them.
Yes, they are. As you say, not much natural light at all. The only lit part of this racing circuit is pretty much near where the grandstands are coming across the start-finish line and up towards Eau Rouge, and the rest of the track, except for one slight bit coming down towards Blanchimont, is pretty much pitch black. They'll be relying on those headlights, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of flashing headlights in this race, Will.
Yeah, and the thing about that is, like, you normally talk about flashing headlights as the way of saying move over. In this type of event, that is really going to annoy drivers, however, because these flashing headlights, it's going to be a big glare in the background, and you really do need to be careful with your racecraft here and how you treat other drivers on track. And I'll tell you one thing, if I was a driver in this field and I was to be seeing the headlights flashing behind me, I'd be getting very angry very quickly.
As would pretty much anyone, as we're just a couple of seconds away from that roof pace car, the iRacing roof pace car just pulling off, and then we can get this race underway. Only a small portion of the lap to do under the pace car before we get this one green flag racing. Marcus Hamilton will be under the control of the field once that pace car pulls down on towards the lane. The drivers will look to get themselves separated out into their individual fields pretty quickly. Of course, not a lot of time to do that because we are already in Blanchimont. So what can the likes of names I'm spotting, Jose Maria Lopez, do from the second row there of that LMP1 field? You've also got in LMP2, you've got Fraser Williams in P number 16 overall, starting second row of that LMP2 field. Of course, GTE, that's just going to be a frantic battle as well. But heading towards the bus stop now, that pace car will find itself on towards the lane right about now. So field is completely under the control of Marcus Hamilton now. So the number 8, he gets to pick when he wants to go until the green flag flies. Holding the field back all the way to last source here. A little bit of flashing lights behind Hamilton. He's going to have to go right out of last source on the inside line now. There we go. Instantly hits the pedal to the metal. We'll go green flag racing here in Spa-Francorchamps. Instantly single file for the LMP1 field up through the Eau Rouge and Radion section. Looking back to your LMP2 field, they're heading their way through last source now. Battle going on for P number 3 in class between Pascal Stix and Neil Andrews, but Stix manages to hold position here. He's already down one position on his qualifying, so Johan Hart there gaining the position up towards Eau Rouge now, and this is going to be very very close in your LMP2 field for P number 2. We'll see 2 wide, we might potentially see 3 wide for the class lead in LMP2 already this early on. Looking to make it 4 wide is Neil Andrews, but 3 wide they'll go down in towards Lecombe. Talmon and Hart fighting side by side. Those are 2 teammates. They don't want to make contact whatsoever, as Stix and Andrews will battle their way through Malmedy and still battle their way down towards Ravage as well. Williamson looking to make it 3 wide, but has to back out of that one. Stix hanging it around.
Yeah, Pascal Stix doing a fantastic job then, running in that 4th place. And one thing I would say is LMP2, as I talked about earlier on, Connery, so far this season has been the field to watch. We have got battles going on in LMP1, but LMP2, they don't have, of course, the hybrid power unit. It's all about doing what you can on the racetrack, and because of that, we've got very close racing.
We have the GT3s have also gotten themselves underway as well. Gianni Vecchio still leads from Melkler and from Perez as well. There has been a change of position further back though. That's Cedric Nevelspeak right up in towards P number 4 there. So fantastic start for the 22. Looking back towards LMP1 though, we did have a pass go on there in towards the bus stop, I believe. No, that was Maria Lopez just having a little bit of a half spin in the bus stop.
Wow, and the thing is as well, if you spin on one of these dark, completely unlit tracks, Connie, it makes it really hard to figure out exactly where you need to go. Now, the bus stop is probably a better corner than many others because of the fact you do get the light from the start finish straight, but getting on track, especially those high curves, can be quite difficult.
There we go, battling between 2 teammates though. Maria Lopez looking to get past Gabor Mex now. So that driver number 33 down towards the inside will have that pass negotiated pretty quickly. Gabor Mex doesn't really want to fight his teammate. His role is more a blocker right now because Dominic Farber there, very, very aggressive indeed, right on the back of Mex, but through Ravage they will go for the second time. Mex had to push out a little bit in the middle of the corner, but that car did grip up by the time the exit arrived, so he'll be absolutely okay. Looking back through the rest of your fields though is still that race clutch 1-2 in LMP2. Johan Half, Aurelien Talmon showing their dominance in that particular class, but it's all stacked up for P number 3.
Yeah, and in GTE right now, you've got a really close battle going on between Mika McCullough and Mark Perez with second place going on right now as they enter the Lacombe complex. And Malkika, I'm going to get this right one day, I promise, the number 11 car versus Mark Perez. Perez did put the pressure on down the Lacombe straightaway, down the back straight away, but was not able to do anything as they came into the corner.
Of course, the braking zone down into the corner, one of the main overtaking opportunities at this circuit. The other big one is down in towards La Source and down in towards the bus stop as well. But pretty much, well, almost every corner in this racetrack you can pull off a pass on if you're brave enough, especially Blanchimont as well. It requires balls of steel to go down through there. But battling in your LMP1 field, in fact, Richard Arnaud has just swapped positions with the car of Ronnie Nunez. I think Nunez was just slow off of the bus stop for seemingly no reason, and he's actually still slow for Nunez, so problems with the 32.
Yeah, so that number 32 has slowed down into 8th place right now in your LMP1 field. We've been having a look from the rear of Arlene Talmon right now as he works himself on the exit of the bus stop chicane towards the start-finish line once again. Although he is only, get this, 0.4 of a second back from that LMP2 race leader, so it's still going close then. 2 French drivers going at it, 1 and 2 LMP2.
Absolutely brilliant effort for them so far in this race with well, 55 minutes to go. So we're only about 5 minutes into this event, but already solidifying their position in those top 2 podium places. Neil Andrews, though, that number 17 car, slow off the top of Eau Rouge. We will see actually a change for the race lead as well between the 2 race clutch drivers. So Talmon will get towards the race lead, battling side by side into the coma for sticks down the inside of Neil Andrews there. Will get that car stopped as well. So a swap for position for the lead, a swap for position for P number 3 as well. And this battle definitely isn't over for P3 in class for the LMP2s because Fraser Williamson is there, right there on the back for that Bushwing team.
Yeah, having a look at Orion Talmon in the number 12 car. The replay of that one, outside line, easy pass completed by him. And then, as you say, you got the one with Andrews and Sticks as well. On board with Andrews, you'd see on the outside line, losing that position there to Pascal Sticks. So 2 changes, LMP2 being again.
Change for the race lead.
Yeah, we have. Wolf, Hamilton.
Yeah, overall race lead, Patrick Wolff has managed to get himself through at some point during this lap. I think he was actually pretty early on in the lap, coming down the Camel Straight. I think he just used a lot of his ERS boost there coming down the Camel Straight. The overspeed was absolutely insane for Wolff, so swap for position at the front.
Yeah, that puts Hamilton down into 2nd place. That's actually right on board with Hamilton. And look at this. Top speed, 182 miles an hour right now. I mean, these cars can go faster, but a lot of these teams choose to use a medium downforce setup rather than trimming all the fat off the car because they do still know, Connery, especially in LMP1, they've got the boost that will help them accelerate off of the slow corners.
Dominic Farber makes the pass into P number 4 over Gabor Mex, so that number 40 machine gains 1 position over his qualifying right now, and that is an admirable effort so far this early on in this event. But we were just talking about that ERS boost that is available to these LMP1 drivers, very similar to how it works in the Formula 1 machines, but slightly different in terms of this one. If you could explain why, well.
I absolutely knew you were going to ask me to do that. I will say, though, in terms of the ERS, is you save it, and I've got to remember here, because the Audi had it saved up through in one way and the Porsche the other, and I always get the 2 confused here. I think it was the Audi that had it saved up from the front wheels only, whereas the Porsche had it saved up through all 4 wheels. And it is very similar to ERS in some ways, in that you save it up over the course of a lap, and it gives you an extra huge boost of horsepower, which these drivers use a lot out of the slow corners. I was watching the Porsche 959 was trying to do all those world records, Connery, and seeing that car go around the Nordschleife with all of the tools and more on it was insane.
Must have been absolutely insane to see these cars in the prime.
Not going to.
It's all right. It's all right. There's a little bit of difference in terms of how much power is available between the 2 cars and the internal combustion units as well. That's is all very, very technical, and perhaps we can get those fact sheets up for you as well right now. But in terms of the race that is on right now, the race for the front of your LMP2 field, that one has spread out just a little bit. Once Talmon had just got past his teammate just a lap or so ago, he's managed to stretch out the gap over Johan Half in the next lap. But Sticks is also falling off the back of this one. So has Andrews and Williamson. Just gaps starting to stretch out between these leading LMP2. So this will just give us a little bit of time actually to look back at P number 18 overall. Jesper Dricka here versus Pavlovic. Side by side coming across the what is going to be the F1 straight here. Drilka will just have to defend this inside line for that Radicals Online team. Squirrely on the brakes a little bit there, and actually Penquit behind in that green and white car, looking very threatening as well. These guys are going to be very close coming down through Eau Rouge now.
Yeah, as Dricka then in the number 26 machine going up Eau Rouge, up Radio. As the number 30 machine would dance to the outside there, Connery, very quickly, but that means that they're going to be side by side. A third driver to the party. That'll be number 41 car of Rennie Penkit. He gets boxed in behind.
Still side by side through the comb, through the second apex as well. Pavlovic on the inside, turns to the outside for Malmedy, tries to cut back, carry momentum through the apex of the corner, gets a little bit of a slide on coming down through, flash of the lights there, and dive down towards the inside for the driver of the 30. Vilka, very, very strong on that outside line, has to go all over the curb from coming down in towards the entry of No Name now. And oh, he's so slidey on exit and allows Pavlovic to go back down the inside for Puon now. This is a very, very sketchy place to go too wide, as Pavlovic will have to squeak his way through. There was, well, pretty much a millimeter between those two drivers there.
Too close in the dark racing. Of course, with the dark, cooler track temps as well here, Connery. So it does mean there's more grip on tracks. A, faster lap times, but B, these drivers can race each other a little bit harder.
They can. Not too many worries about the tyre wear due to the conditions. The battle for the overall race lead, though, is still on because they're hitting traffic, and Patrick Wolf, he's hit a GTE car of Alex Simonich here, and that is absolutely crucial for this race at the front. He'll still try to fight off Marcus Hamilton, though, but instantly as we cut to it, Patrick Wolf has gotten himself involved in an incident, damage to the front clip of that LMP1 machine now, and Marcus Hamilton smells blood in the water. What
did I say at the start of this broadcast, Connery, about working and about driving in the dark? Patrick Wolf then down into the inside. That was a lapse of concentration, because I mean, I would say at that point you could clearly see that there's a car in front. That's a lapse of concentration or a brake lock up.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, Patrick Wolf still in the lead of this race right now as the GTE cars cause a little bit of an issue front coming up towards Blanchimont. But look at the run from Hamilton. Has to lift out of the throttle, though, coming up towards Blanchimont, because Wolf, well, he just sat in the middle of the track, had to pick to go left or right. He goes left coming down in towards the bus stop chicane, though, but Hamilton still can't find his way through. And over the next couple of laps now, this will be crucial to see whether that damage for Patrick Wolf was more or less than what we think.
Yeah, down to the inside then will go Marcus Hamilton. Battle for the race lead on the exit of Lecombe. And that was fantastic there. Look at these drivers side through the traffic. It cost Hamilton, though, just as they were trying to all pick lanes.
Oh, and Hamilton, big moment there coming through Eau Rouge as well over the curb. Absolutely frantic couple of moments for these LMP1 cars, the LMP1 leaders, as, I really want to get another look at Hamilton getting so squirrely through Eau Rouge. And this is actual Eau Rouge now. This isn't the top of Radion. This is Eau Rouge over the curb, tries to get the car switched back, but that car was almost having none of it.
Yeah, there's a replay up for you now. Caught the curb too early on the entrance into Eau Rouge. And I tell you what, I've seen many an LMP1 car, both in the real world and in sim racing, Connery, lose it as a consequence of doing that exact same thing.
Yeah, many big incidents have been had there in all classes of racing, and it's never something you like to see. It's something that does happen, as all this battling up the front actually has brought Jose Maria Lopez back in, so Marcus Hamilton actually has a little bit of support from his teammate here, potentially to try and get past Patrick Wolf if things close up once again, because he won't be pressured too much from behind because it's his teammate, so he can still focus on trying to chase down Wolf.
Indeed he does. We've been looking on board, by the way, with Mark Perez in the number 3 machine. And, Connor, you have been away for a couple of weeks, so we'll be able to bring you back up to speed on some of the crazy liveries that are on in this series, especially in GTE. Mark Perez, number 3 machine, definitely one keep an eye out on it. It looks just even better in the dark.
It looks fantastic. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of the testing livery that Red Bull used to run with.
Merge that a little bit with the Monster, of course. It reminds me of, what's his name, Valentino Rossi. Some of the drivers that's done stuff over there. But yeah, great livery. But this GTE field has been far too quiet here today. There's been little bits of movement, but nothing substantial. I think that pit stops here is going to really liven this field up.
I definitely think it will, as well as the LMP1 cars here tried to side their way through this. Stephen Bailey trying to get through there has actually changed to the race lead now. Marcus Hamilton does it on the brakes coming through Lecombe, and actually his teammate might get a piece of the pie as well through Malmedy, but no, he's just going to have to cancel that move right now. So Hamilton now at the front.
Yeah, here's the replay then. Starts all the way off through Radio. Fantastic use of the boost there for the driver of Marcus Hamilton. Gets himself right behind. Two teammates working together. They both try and find their way through in towards Lecombe. Hamilton gets it. Lopez just has to hold back.
Yeah, but the thing is, Lopez looking very, very strong right now, and Wolf has to struggle with that little bit of front-end damage that he sustained while having some contact with one of the GTE cars earlier on. So he has that damage to this. Now he can get that front clip changed in the pit stop, so he'll add a good couple of seconds to his stop time though, so that could drop him even further back. But the thing is, that's the calculations and the risks that you do have to take. Do you change that front clip and actually get that damage repaired, or do you keep the damage on the car?
The amount of time you spend on the pit stop, Connery, I'm not quite sure here. I think some of the drivers, people like, if this was to happen to a mid-pack driver, take the damage. This is Patrick Wolf, however, we're talking about. And I think that Wolf is a driver who knows how to drive a damage race car.
Yeah, and there we go. Jose Maria Lopez down towards the inside. Now for P number 2, slides through the apex of La Source. All pushes. Patrick Wolf almost off the racing circuit. Fast flashing of the lights in frustration, quite understandably so there, from the driver of the number 5. And as Alonso always used to say, you always have to leave the space.
Yep, as Wolf then down into 3rd place. Not even going to get a run back because he's that far back in towards Lecombe. So now, two teammates, P number 1, P number 2 in this one. The two, Hamilton and Lopez doing a fantastic job here. Do want to talk about LMP2 a little bit though, because P2, 3, 4, 5 is still going on, Connery.
It is. A little bit of a slide coming out of Lafagna, though, for Neil Andrews. That number 17 car is kind of in the thick of things right now. Currently in P number 16 overall. And that is going to be P number 4 in class. So Fraser Williamson, he's also been very, very quiet in this event. Only lost 1 position on his qualifying. So still a very good run for him. But we'll see what changes when pit stops arrive in about 15 minutes time, we should suspect. Oh, there goes Johan Hart, actually. Huge lockup coming up through the bus stop. Loses a little bit of time as a result of that, but manages to keep himself ahead. But that gap isn't looking as large as it once was.
As they cross the start-finish line, the gap is about 6.5 tenths per second. But Pascal sticks there. Himself goes wide on the exit of La Source. What that's going to mean. Neil Andrews now comes into play on the run down in towards La Source, Rayon, and the A1 Simsports car there. He's got to be very careful because you time you run perfectly. This is where you make a move, and Andrews on the attack.
Driver's left-hand side coming down the Kemmel straight now. Both drivers possibly using the ERS boost to attack and defend simultaneously here. About little late breakers then coming down through the chicane, and Neil Andrews will have the inside line for the second apex. Here comes Fraser as well, Williamson behind, and he won't be able to capitalize on any hole that Neil Andrews would have made. Close coming down in towards Ravage though, but thing is, it's just going to be the status quo after that swap.
I will say one thing as well. This track is beautiful at night. As having a look on the entrance in No Name Corner, some more LMP2 battles going on behind right now. And Drekler and Pavlik then in the number 26 and 30 machines respectively going at it. I will say one thing, GTE is continuing to disappoint us right now.
Yeah, we haven't seen the fireworks that we have previously seen in that class. There's a swap for position, I believe, in the LMP1 class. That is the 39 and the 42. That was Thierry Renson getting past Stephen Bailey coming in towards Lacoma. And actually, Thierry Renson, that is a bit of a mouthful to say, actually. I'm quite surprised. But that 39 driver has just managed to pull away over the last couple of corners, let alone catching up over the last couple of laps.
Yeah, indeed. So having a look at that battle, and we'll say one thing as well. Pit stops here, the window is going to be very wide. Tyres are not going to be anywhere near the factor because of the cool track conditions. And also, fuel mileage generally works better in this cooler air economy. So we might see some people go to about 48 to 50 minutes into a stint. That does mean they want to flip it. If they're in traffic, they can come in now. Fraser Williamson in P number 5. Well, I think he's just looking to finish a race for once.
Yeah, Fraser Williamson has, shall we say, a little bit of a curse when it comes to these broadcasted races, and I'll just leave it there, Will.
Yeah. As he comes down towards Lacombe right now, 4th place on track. Sticks, by the way, iRacing Sport car. I mean, that is a bright thing. You can't miss that one on track.
It's almost like it's he's deliberately put that livery on the car for this event because it basically glows in the dark with the headlights behind it. You're definitely not going to miss that one if it's rejoining a racing circuit after an off, for example. I'm not wishing that on Sticks, of course, but the thing is, drivers behind will be able to see it, so it's not too much of an issue. But I'm just desperately trying to look for GTE battles right now, and we might actually finally have one for P number 3 here. Mark Perez and David Peña Jimenez here down in towards the bus stop. Mark Perez looking to actually get back past the driver of the number 18 after you passed him earlier on this lap. There's also Patrick Moser and Cedric Nebelschek here as well in this train, so we might actually finally have a GTE battle.
Yay! Finally! I'm feeling far too happy today. I'll tell you one thing, by the way. Brazil are now feeling a little bit happier for those of you who are watching the kickabout contest that's going on. But yeah, this battle that's going on, second, third place. We've got 1, 2, 3 drivers right now, all separated. 4 drivers separated by 1.2. And this is what traffic often does. It will draw the field out and bring it back. I do take that back. It was 3rd through 6th place. My timing got completely wrong on that one. So I do have to say is here we go, down to the outside, Connery.
Down to the inside for Mark Perez, very, very late on the brakes there, and gets that pass pretty easily done there for Perez. Not a challenge at all over Jimenez, and you thought Jimenez might have just let that one go because he doesn't actually want to lose more positions in this situation. Around the outside, Musa tries to go down through Ravage, follows his man very closely coming through the apex of the corner, almost giving a love tap to that rear bumper of that Ferrari ahead of him, but they managed to get away with it on the run down towards Pouon now, and they'll just have to stay in line for this double apex left. Yeah,
as we're on board with Moser, who's running in 5th place. He's got David Peña Jimenez ahead of him from Club Iberia. The ex-driver, number 16 machine, and pushes very wide there at Fongia. This is where that dart, and that's exactly what I was about to talk about there. That because it's so dark, you kind of miss. If you go offline, you don't really know where the track ends and when the grass starts until you hit it cornering. And that's exactly what happened to Moser. I'm really glad he went wide there, just to show us what we mean.
Yeah, one of the challenges of racing in the night, your visibility is impaired. So that is a big issue, both in the real world and, of course, in the sim racing as well. Of course, you can do like cheap tricks of sending more bright and stuff, but that won't actually help you all that much. But there we go. But this battle does continue now down for your GTE podium positions now, or at least just outside the podium positions. Ollie Foka has actually, I believe, retired from this event now. So issues for the number 35. I'm just having a look back to see where this one might have been. He's already 1 lap down as of the time of talking, and it might just be technical.
Yeah, Williamson's out as well by the looks of it in at number 7, so we jinxed it again.
Manually. Yeah, and, well, it wasn't technical issues. It was actually an incident for Fraser Williamson, at least, on number 38. Oh, spins, huge moment out of the second Stavolo. That is a very weird incident indeed. Clips the gravel, clips the curb, and heavy impact with the barrier.
Let's see if we can find it. We need to try and just cycle our cameras back a little bit to see if we can. Williamson. Okay, this is him. It's even harder to tell the corner names there. So this is him to Rivage. We're just going to ride on board then for a few moments with Fraser Williamson. And one thing we will see here is just how narrow that field of view is. Sorry, I mean, I'm going to get the magical pen up very quickly and kind of show you what we mean, because you can't see anything over there. You can barely see anything over there. What you do end up with is such a narrow field of view, and it does give you tunnel vision. I remember running the Daytona 24 hours, and my light, live in a smart flat, my lights go off at 1 o'clock in the morning, which was in the middle of the race I ran, as here we are then. Fraser Williamson gets onto the curb. Oh, it just catches that little bit of gravel, and that's kind of, again, what I mean there, Connery. He caught the gravel because that field of vision is so small. When you do little moves like that, just push yourself off balance a little bit, it does really hurt you, as Hamilton's now behind Lopez. But you do end up with that tunnel vision, and it does change the way drivers react.
Tunnel vision leads to a little mistake, leads to big problems then for the young Scotsman of Fraser Williamson. But you're quite right, this battle for the race lead now is getting just a little bit closer as they're dealing with the GTE traffic, flashing the lights frantically, which is the universal racing code for get out of my way. Here comes battle for the race lead, though, potentially for Marcus Hamilton and Lopez. Lopez was slowed up so much through the GTE traffic. We'll have to overshoot the first apex of the bus stop. Hamilton with the better line through here, almost a little bit of contact between the two teammates, but they'll manage to get themselves away safely.
I'll tell you what, that was great defensive driving by Lopez. Hamilton is going to have now to be really aggressive on the exit of this corner, because he had traffic alongside him. He's gone past that. Now there's going to be traffic hurting Lopez all the way up the hill here. This could, bold move there by Lopez.
That was an incredible move, but here comes the overspeed for Hamilton. He's used the ERS boost, the overtake button in effect now for number 8, so he'll get himself towards the race lead.
We need more racing at night on road courses. End of story.
Yeah, we really, really do, but hopefully in the future when day-night transitions get finished, maybe we'll see much, much more of that.
I'll tell you one thing I would say on that. What I don't want to see is what you see on a certain other platform where you can essentially do 24 hours in the space of an hour race. No. I think that it would be great to have it when the time of day matches the time of day on what essentially is UTC, and the race evolves with that. So for an hour race, it would be great to see sunset into night, for example. And I think that's going to create some beautiful racing in days gone by. And of course, the longer races starting off in daytime, going towards twilight hours, as we're on board with Pastel Sticks going wide on the exit of P1 number 2 just to get himself past some lap traffic. And these guys are taking a lot of risk considering the fact they can't see more than about 100 yards in front of them.
Yeah, exactly, and the other MB1 cars are having a couple of issues as well trying to get through this traffic. Scavo Max got held up a little bit coming through the first and second Stabler, but will finally make his way by the traffic that he was dealing with by the exit on the run down towards Blanchemont. One of the better places this run down towards Blanchemont to get past lap traffic. Of course, you can get held up during Blanchemont as well, which isn't ideal, so good timing is required to manage the traffic, as we're seeing cars down on towards the lane now. Carly Jansen for your GTE field decides that now is a very good time to pit. Will anyone else join him on the lane? I'm not spotting anyone deciding to commit themselves to the entry.
We've had 1 or 2 drivers in LMP2 only, and we have had comments saying too early to pit. One could argue yes, but at the same time, Connery. Pardon?
Race lead, Hamilton and Lopez are at it again, coming down towards the com, and actually Jose Maria Lopez now is your race leader, so these teammates are just swapping the race lead at the front, and Lopez will pull away again down towards Rivage. He definitely has that energy deployment on pretty much maximum. Yeah,
one of the things, I'm just going to finish off this point, then we're going to go to a bit of RaceSpotTV fan immersion. What we are going to talk about, though, is that a bit like McLaren, they have that pit board that shows all the drivers on track. If you know that you're going to be struggling with lap traffic over a period of time, it might be better to pit early go off rotation, because you will save a bit of time not having to move out the way for other faster traffic. But let's give you a little bit then of RaceSpotTV fan immersion for a lap on boards and some fantastic night racing. Patrick Wolf Connery has come down onto pit road.
He has. So one of the drivers that was fighting for the race lead earlier on, actually a very, very quick stop there, 20 seconds stationary in his pit box, will be off on the way through a relatively tricky pit exit here at Spa. Has to keep towards that right-hand side before rejoining the racetrack, coming through the exit of Radion onto the Kendall Straight. But this pit lane, well, it is so long. If you're at the front of the pit lane, you basically have a lane time of nearing a minute before you even get stopped.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing as well. For the drivers who are in GTE, they're more likely to be on what we like to call the Grand Prix version of the pits. If you're in LMP1, not only are you going to be on the run down to Rouge Radio, but it's downhill, so you slide through your box potentially a little bit more, as Gabor Mex is on pit road and Jose Maria Lopez is on pit road as well. So here we are, we're on board of Lopez. This is a perfect place to demonstrate this. 37 miles an hour. But you're pretty much going downhill. You can lift and coast a little bit if you want to. You'll see a lot of drivers then just try and flick through the gears. It gives them a tiny little bit of extra speed. I don't personally like it, as Lopez is almost too busy paying attention to his gearbox than he was the fact that that kind of pit wall curves in a little bit there, Connery.
Yeah, one of the very, very few circuit layouts where you actually have to do a turn in the middle of pit lane, but Jose Maria Lopez narrowly avoids incidents with the concrete walls. He finally gets himself stopped in his box. We're expecting another pretty quick stop here for the other First Master Movano driver, and well, we'll have to see where Marcus Hamilton is. He is coming down through what is going to be the Fania chicane right now. Jose Maria Lopez still stopped in his box. When will Lopez manage to get himself off and away? Gabor Mex has also come down towards the lane as well. There goes Jose Maria Lopez. Whereas Marcus Hamilton, he's lost a lot of time.
Well, no, don't forget, Hamilton has not yet pitted. That's the situation with that one. Hamilton hasn't yet come on towards pit road. Hamilton, Farber and Bailey haven't yet pitted. Lopez, Wolf, Mex have all decided to come down towards pit road this time by, as is running Nunez right now. And it looks as though that Nunez is going to lose out to Richard Arnaud. So most of your LMP1 field coming in just about at the halfway point here. Marcus Hamilton, though, now does come onto the lane.
There we go. My mistake, but we'll manage to do this one properly now as Marcus Hamilton does bring his car down on towards the lane. That number 8 machine will try to get his service for the end of the race. Dominic Farber as well down on the lane, was running P number 3, running P number 2 before things cycle themselves through. Will drop back down the field though once he gets this service done. Hamilton rounds the 180 degree, well, basically hairpin turn in the middle of the lane and then starts searching for his pit box.
I'm sorry, I need to replay this one for you, Connery. This is what I mean about trying to pit in the dark and that tunnel vision. This is Bailey on towards pit road. So this is him coming in towards the bus stop chicane. Slides through the bus stop chicane. Has to pretty much a little bit of off-roading to make it into the actual pit lane itself.
Yeah, cutting it very, very close. It is a very tough pit entry here at Spa for the Grand Prix pits. We're using the endurance pits, so the Grand Prix pits and the alternate pits, the old style pits, are all joined together, so we'll get a maximum of 60 pit stalls if you so wish. When you set up these sorts of sessions, Hamilton now gets himself off of the lane. Where is his teammate of Lopez rounding his way through last source now? And Hamilton, he was very, very quick on the pit stop. He'll come out way ahead of Jose Maria Lopez.
Yeah, and the gap is actually going to be pretty substantial. Just wait for timing and scoring to settle down a little bit, but we classify it right now at about 7 seconds between Hamilton and Lopez. Now, worth noting that 5.8 seconds of those was down to pit time, actual, like how long you spent in your pit stall. However, I'm doing the math here, and I believe that Hamilton did gain another 10th or so of a second just coming on towards pit road. His in-lap was phenomenal.
Yeah, so a combination of multiple factors has resulted in what is going to be a 6.3, dropping quickly to 6.2 second gap now on the relative timing between P number 1 and P number 2 in class for your LMP1 field. Looking at the rest of the fields that we have here, we are in the middle of a pit stop cycle right now for the LMP2s. So Johan Haaf, Aurélien Talmont, Neil Andrews, Pascal Stix, who are leading for the start of the race, still leading right now. They haven't come down on towards the lane, but the likes of Rennie Penkvit, Milos Pauvovic, Carlo Labate, Sergio Garcia Lopez have decided to pit as these two Race Clutch teammates at the front of the LMP2 field, they're not too far away from each other.
They're not. 3 tenths per second separating those drivers as we see the top 3 in each of your classes on the left-hand side of your screen. But the best battle we have got going on in LMP2 is your battle for the race lead, closely followed by the battle for P number 3 and P number 4. That one is close, with Neil Andrews holding on from Pascal Stix right now in that number 31 machine as they work themselves up the hill again.
Up the hill once again. Stix will have the run out of Radion though. Look at that overspeed sitting in the slipstream is that bright lime green car of the number 31 down towards the inside over Neil Andrews though. Very deep on the brakes as well. Manages to get that car stopped for the apex, but Andrews trying to use an alternate line coming through there to try and gain back any advantage that is possible. But that pass is now complete now for Pascal Stix as your LMP2 leaders trying to file their way through a little bit of GTE traffic now. And speaking of GTE, we have well, if you weren't paying attention to the last 3 weeks, we have a new GTE.
We do. As we're just going to have a replay, first of all, that was Pascal Stix moving himself up into 3rd position on track. As let's actually go and talk about this GTE beast incarnate, shall we? Porsche have come up once again with another beautiful car here for iRacing. So having a look then at the number 11 machine, but the RSR machine, I mean, it's fun to drive. That's the thing. Some of these Porsches haven't been the easiest cars to drive. I mean, let's not talk about the rear-wheel drive machine, Connery, because that thing around the Nordschleife is just insane. But the RSR is beautiful.
Yeah, I wouldn't wish driving that rear-wheel drive Porsche on my worst enemy. That was it was kind of a horrible car to drive. But the recent cars that iRacing have brought to the service, though, in the form of the 911 Cup car, this Porsche GTE, and of course the 919 Hybrid as well for the LMP1s, they're just all pretty amazing cars to drive, and I would definitely recommend it. Meanwhile, though, Johan Haaf, Neil Andrews, and Antti Levoska down on towards the lane for LMP2.
Yeah, so LMP2 pit stops then really starting to kick off right now. That 3rd, 4th, and 5th place coming in. We've had 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th already make their journey on towards pit road. Now, there's not going to be much to separate this. What'll be interesting to see what happens in about a lap or so time, Connery, when the Andrews versus Pascal Sticks battle will kick off one more time. But also, the battle of course now for P1 and 2, that separates out by a lap. And if you compare the two teammates here, it does make a little bit of sense to pit them in one lap apart, because you don't want two teammates running into each other on pit road.
Definitely something that you don't want to happen, and it has happened, of course, as Johan Hartwig gets himself stopped in his box for his service, just fuel to the end, I would guess, for these LMP2 cars. Lavuska also gets himself stopped, as you see the headlights go down on the main pit, straight down towards the Eau Rouge section. I believe Ronnie Nunez has spent a very long time on towards the lane, so this is one of your LMP1 cars. He spent like more than 2 minutes on the lane, so I think he's, for all intents and purposes, out of this event.
Yeah, just to let you know, by the way, apologies and commiserations to Hugo and Brazil. However, we are at Belgium.
Spoilers!
We're at Belgium, however, so congratulations to Belgium. You see, race cars always make a difference.
Yes. I have pretty much no more to add to that one, because I don't really follow football. I know it's blasphemy, but oh well, that's all I have to say. Well, I'm sorry.
That's all right. So we're having a look at Tolman then, and he is going to come on towards pit road this time by. Here's the speedo chart. This is what you really want to see. You see the car building up to about 80 miles an hour before you slow it down to 37 miles an hour, and then you basically can sit down, eat yourself a Burger King Whopper meal if you want to, get yourself some popcorn, read the Sunday Times, and then you end up in your pit stall.
Yeah, if you brought your lunch in the car, you could probably eat that as well, as some old Grand Prix drivers used to do when they're in their pit stop service. So plenty of time to think about the race ahead and the second stint that you'll have to complete for the last, well, if you're LMP1, about 11 laps to go for these drivers. And then you realize, once again, you're still nowhere near your pit box, so then you have to start thinking about other things as well.
Yeah, we do want to apologise, by the way. Live timing and scoring decided that it didn't want to work. It is now officially working in 3, 2, 1. There we are. Live timing and scoring, RaceSpotTV /timing. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Tolman versus Half here, Connery. They will be coming out on pit road by my watch here, literally about a second apart, if not less.
It will be very close. Talmon's still stationary on the lane. Half coming through last source now. Talmon gets himself off no way, waits for those green cones before he can hit the throttle 100% up the hill for the pit exit. Half is coming up towards Eau Rouge right now. This will be very, very close indeed. Remember, Talmon is going to have less speed at the top of the hill than Half, and Half, there he goes, driver's left-hand side, flashing the lights and changing the race lead now. Half in towards the lead of the LMP2 class. Talmon has to fall behind to P2.
I said it was a second because it was a 14.6 second pit stop there for Johan Half. It was a 15.5 second pit stop for Arjen Talmon. Get this though, 1.2 seconds slower on pit road. So Talmon also lost himself 0.3 of a second from pit entry to pit exit. That was not in the box, Connery, and that really will be, I think, where LMP2s will be won or lost.
Yeah, that is a huge amount of time to be losing just on the lane alone, and he's getting a little bit frustrated now with the traffic, bringing himself very close to that GTE car of Nestras Kosclu, and then he had the issue of Eric Galvez trying to come through on him for the LMP1 class as well. So Talmon's going to lose a little bit more time here as he just tries to side his way through, finally down towards the inside of Maturana there in that GTE Ferrari, but all while he's doing this and struggling, Half is just getting away.
Yeah, just to let you know as well, that half of the GTE field have hit it. The other half have decided to do I like to do the long haul game here, Connery. So they won't come in until that fuel is at absolutely zero. Now, there are two always different sets of minds on this. Some of the people like having half a race tank, filling up in the middle and going. There are some people that like having the heavier race tank because it gives them more options in case, for example, they get damaged, or they end up in a situation where, you know, traffic isn't on their favour. to allow them to come on towards pit road. We do see one driver, that is Jimenez there, I believe. No, that's not Jimenez going on towards pit road. That is actually Sergio Maturinha then on towards pit road.
Yeah, he is. So he'll take the rather long trip on towards the lane. Meanwhile, out there on the racing circuit, though, we still have some relatively close battles going on. Of course, we have that battle between LMP2, the race leader, and P2 in that class, Hartman and Talmon, both teammates. We've also got another race clutch driver involved in the battle, and this is Richard Arnault in the LMP1 class as well. So they're getting themselves involved into a good couple of fights in this event. Arnault is trying to defend right now from Thierry Renson. Renson closed up about 0.6 of a second that last time.
Yeah, your battle for LMP2 up to 1.1 seconds. So those people that say, Connery, I don't know what I'm talking about, boom, proven.
Yeah, it was a very, very good call indeed. But will he manage to stay within that margin over the next about quarter of an hour? It'll be fantastic to see a sort of grandstand finish between the two teammates, as long as they don't have a little bit of contact between each other. We don't want to see that, of course, but a fantastic race for the end will be certainly what we're going to be ordering here at RaceSpotTV. But looking back through GTE right now in the kind of coming up towards their pit stops now as the fuel tanks will run dry, Maturinha does decide to head his way off of the lane finally to get his service complete, and now he doesn't have to worry about pitting again, hopefully, until the end of this event when the checkered flag is out. But right now we're just setting up right now, Will, for the final 10 minutes.
Yeah, final 15 minutes. We have got one more car on pit road. That, I believe, is Gianni Vecchio. He's come on from the race lead in GTE.
So that is going to be the trigger. That is going to be the signal now for the rest of the GTE field. Do they follow Gianni Vecchio in, or do they try to extend their stints one more lap? David Peña Jimenez now decides to head his way in from P number 2 in the class for your GTE field. Kioskalu also decides to head his way in from P number 3. Bastien Remis also in from P number 4, P number 5, P number 6 in. It's a GTE pit party.
Yeah, all aboard the pit party, as we like to say then. So this is going to be really interesting because there have been these two different strategies, but Vecchio should still come out quite clearly with the race lead in this one. But as we go on board of him again, now notice the fact that the front, he overshoots by about, that cost him about a second.
It did. He had quite a comfortable buffer anyway, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue, but it's time that he definitely doesn't want to be losing at this stage. Jose Maria Lopez, issues for the number 33. I'm trying to find where this may have happened. I just seen him drop down my timing screens, and it may have been incident limit looking at it.
Oh, number 33 machine. Let's go back then and see what we can find. That is going to be huge. And again, we talk about racing in the dark here, Connery. And this is a track which is notorious in terms of drivers, for example, going over that instant limit. As we do see, by the way, changes on pit road. As we continue to look at Maria Lopez then. Guez, Vecchio, Lopez and Nunez. Nunez loses 1 place overall by the looks of it. In class, it still looks as though he is where he is. But that's the thing here. And there we are. Yeah, you're completely right. That was incident limit gone.
Yeah, and as you quite rightfully pointed out, Will, this track really does take no prisoners when it comes to the instant limit. I'm looking at it right now. 17 incidents is the limit here, and you get a one instant point for every time you step your foot out of line, and that's very easy to do at this racing circuit, and you have to keep well behaved under that 17 limit for an hour of racing, which is actually very tricky to do.
Yeah, I just saw Richard Arnault, by the way. He's in a battle with Terry Renson, by the looks of it, as they work themselves into Rivard. I want to go back then and have a look from our aerial coverage brought to you by And One Design. Because it looks as though it got very bumpy down at Le Con. They went 3 wide for a moment as they came down into that corner. This case of red car, yellow car, red car, yellow car as they come in. Yeah, the two make contact there, and Arnault had to go onto the kind of escape road as a consequence. He did keep the position for a minute, but then Terry Renson decided to go down the inside of Rivard. It's a little bit dirty there by Renson.
just a little bit, but can Arnaud respond to that one? He did have a little bit of a look coming down into Pouhon the last time by with the help of the lap traffic, but right now Renson is just stretching his legs and extending this gap with the help of perhaps a little bit of a higher engine mode, a higher ERS mode to try and pull himself away, but Arnaud does reply to that one, catches up on this run down through Blanchimont and through up towards the bus stop. So it's kind of that situation where you see one driver using the boost to defend, one using to attack, one using them to pull away. It's sometimes quite hard to tell who has the outright overall pace in LMP1 because of all the features of the car they have available to them.
Yeah, the battle's come down LMP2 as well to 4/10 of a second between Johan Harf and Arjen Talmon right now. So that battle's still going on. We've also got a great battle going on in terms of GTE. Didn't really get to focus much on their pit stops, but here is Perez on the outside of David Pena and Jimenez as they work themselves in towards Lecombe around the outside, and he's going to make it work there. Power move by Mark Perez there. Also worth noting, of course, if you are new to the iRacing Esports Network, hello and welcome. We would love for you to stay friends with us. If you want more iRacing action, subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network on YouTube now.
And we'll be watching very, very closely to see that number go up. Believe you me, and otherwise something very, very bad will happen.
Yeah, we'll carry on talking after the broadcast.
We'll carry on talking. I'm pretty sure that's torture to some people out there sometimes in our comment sections, but that's the end I'll say of that one. But this battle for LMP2 race lead still going on between the two teammates. I don't think we'll see this one flare up until the final few minutes of the event. These guys just want to make sure they have enough of a buffer over Pascal Sticks to then try to start fighting for honor pretty much between those two teammates for the race win.
Yeah, as we're looking at 8, 9, and 10 on track right now in GTE. 3 drivers separated very close there, 2 different car types as well in terms of the Ferrari and the Porsche. In the mid-pack of your GTE field right now, Kislogu versus Ramirez battling it out for 9th place on track. Number 9 machine then. Being put under pressure all of a sudden. There's pressure going on at all angles.
Yep, there is. Down through the bus stop right now. They all close up under the brakes. Remis looking pretty strong at this stage in the race. A 306.3 for Kioskulu versus a 4.2 there for Remis. And, well, that will change the hit their way across the line because, of course, the stops will factor into this. But... wow, that's that's such a squirrely move there through the apex of La Source there for Remis. That's going to ruin his entire run now down through Eau Rouge and up through the top of Radion as well. So if there's one exit they absolutely have to maximize in the whole of motorsports, the exit of La Source is pretty much one of them.
Yeah, I mean, as you see ahead, actually, we've got the Explorer. He's going to go to the outside of Sergey as they come. Look at that. Weaving around, bobbing and weaving, less than 10 minutes to go. Nestorius Kioskulu is actually going to move himself up to 8th in GTE. Galvez, has he only just come onto pit road for the first time?
Galvez, I'm just having a quick look. He had 16 laps on the stint, so I think he pitted a little bit earlier because of perhaps a little bit of damage that he sustained, so that'll be a second stop.
I'm not entirely sure on that one. Yeah, but yeah, he is definitely the rear of the field anyway, in terms of LMP1. The only battle we've really got going on LMP1 is Richard Arnaud and Stephen Bailey, but that battle for the race lead in LMP2 is now again close here, Connery.
Very close, but like I mentioned before, I don't think we'll see much from these guys until the final couple of laps of the race, which we are guaranteed to be coming up to in about 2 laps' time. We have about 4.5 laps to go for your LMP2 field. As Richard Arnaud and Bailey, I believe they've just swapped for positions on the run down towards La Source. They have Stephen Bailey in front of Richard Arnault now, and fantastic launch off the corner there of La Source for Bailey. Manages to stretch out the gap coming up towards Eau Rouge. I don't think there is much that Arnault can do about this, although saying that, very good run through the apexes coming up the hill, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move.
No, there's a replay of Bailey getting himself passed down towards La Source. Easy move. Not really much you can say about that, to be honest. But again, that's the thing. Sometimes you do get the ability to have more overtakes if you're able to react quickly in this LMP1 machine. But it all comes down, in my opinion, to kind of keeping calm quite often, Connor. We talk about this heavily, of course, at Road Atlanta in this car, because you do be able to keep it, I'll speak in real English, if you are able to keep it calm, you know you are going to lose an apex, save a little bit of that ERS, it might help you later on, even that same lap.
All part of the strategy for these LMP1 cars, the fiddling around with the ERS systems, the same, very similar to which exist in the World Championship Grand Prix Series as well. So if you're good at one of those, you're probably good at the other one as well in terms of the ERS management. But in terms of this event, we have around about 7 minutes, just under 7 minutes to go before that white flag and then checkered flag will be out there on the racing circuit. Main battle to watch is for LMP2 between Johan Hartharelli and Talmon. There is a battle further down that field, though, between Penquit and Palvolic here. And actually, they're going to get going pretty much straight away as soon as I mention it. Off the top of Eau Rouge, Radion now deal with the lap traffic, and now they're free to fight. Defensive inside line now for Penquit in the number 41. This is the battle for P number 15 overall. Palvolic has to go a long way around, drags the brakes around the outside. He has to get on the curb for the inside, though, and Penquit just shoved out to dry there over the curb, almost loses control. Palvolic makes his own missed apex, but Palvolic will make his way through, and again, frustration for Penquit as he flashes the lights.
Should we have a replay?
Let's have a look then.
Nice little half dummy there. Go down to the inside, then cut back to the outside. It's a classic move here. And then, yeah, Palvolic on the outside, getting that move. Does almost run into the gravel. A bit like what Fraser Williamson did earlier, but able to hold it. I'll tell you one thing. We've got ourselves a battle going on in GT. Let's go on board with Yimyes for a lap.
lap on board there with David Peña Jimenez, the driver of the number 18 Ferrari, trying to chase down P number 3. The final step of the podium, Marc Perez there in pretty much the best livery on the grid, at least in our opinion. The lap times the last time by did favor Marc Perez, though, by about 0.4 of a second. So Perez doing all he needs now at this late stage. It's going to be about 1.5 laps to go for your GTE field, if my calculations are correct, with about 2 minutes and 47 seconds to go. But here's a... Ooh, actually, I've just spotted someone down on towards the lane. It's Patrick Wolff. What has happened? There's a bit of damage to the rear end, and he's actually going to get out of that car. He's had a... he's had a huge incident, Will. A huge, huge incident at the top of Eau Rouge. He goes tumbling, tumbling, tumbling. Yeah, quite literally, he actually hits the barrier at such a speed, spins onto his roof, and then just spins around like a top. Luckily, no one else actually got caught in that one. They all managed to stream themselves by on driver's left, but that could have been a much, much bigger incident with the amount of cars trying to come through. Yeah, very close to a sort of mirror image there for that incident with Patrick Wolff. So he'll drop down the timing sheets, will not finish this event, definitely. It'll be a miracle for that car to still be running after such a huge impact like that. But we're coming up to around about a minute to go now, and I think Marcus Hamilton, he's going to be on his, well, it's going to be white flag this time, I believe. He's not going to get back to the flag, get to the back to the starter stand when he comes back around this time. So this is going to be the final lap now for your race, and it's going to be Johan Haaf, Aurélien Talmon. That is the closest battle in terms of for major positions right now. But the thing is, guess who separates them out? It's an LMP1 car. It's Gabor Metz that gets in the way. A little bit of the flashing of lights there to try and negotiate those passes. But Talmon not really going to be happy about that one. Yeah, Marcus Hamilton, after a little bit of a scrap with Patrick Wolff and a little bit of a scrap with his teammate of Jose Maria Lopez, only one of those three is left standing, and it's Marcus Hamilton himself. Fantastic event for him. Just a final couple of corners to go through Blanchimont for the final time. Clock is completely run out. This will be the finish of the race when he heads his way through the bus stop, and then Marcus Hamilton can say he has won in the iRacing Le Mans Series in the night here at Spa-Francorchamps, and Gianni Vecchio will be very close behind him as well for your GTE winner. So the number one comes out on top for your GTE field. Top of the podium for Gianni Vecchio. Melkele will get P2 in that field as well. Marc Perez will head his way across the line for your GTE field. But looking at your LMP2 field now, the race leaders, they're so very close, but I don't think it's going to be close enough for Talmon, or it might not be actually. He's going to follow his teammate all the way through the slow speed section, but it's not enough of a run to the line for Talmon to do anything. Johan Haaf will win LMP2. But Bailey versus Arnaud, 42 versus the 19, side by side through the final couple of corners. Bailey manages to get that position at the dying moments there. So Bailey, fantastic stuff, actually defends that position at the final moments. Both of those situations are equally admirable there. Arnaud dived his way down the inside of the bus stop, but Bailey managing to defend and hold on, and from what I see, a bit of a fan favorite in the chat. Job very much done, as the rest of the runners will head their way across the line. We're still waiting for the number 7 machine to get himself around, but the thing is, he's about 4 laps down, which is actually the same lap as GTE field, so not too bad of a race for him, although it could have gone much better for the number 7, but I think it's just about time now to go through your official finishing results. Looking at LMP1, we've got Marcus Hamilton coming away with the race win by 28.1 seconds after his competitors of Patrick Wolff and Maria Lopez dropped off. He was pretty much the only one left to take the race win by that sort of margin. Dominic Farber will come P3 just behind Gabor Mex, which who gets a fantastic run up into P number 2 there for the number 14, Thierry Renson. P number 12 to P number 4. That is a brilliant race there from the driver of the 39. Stephen Bailey managing to hold on to P number 5 from Richard Arnaud in the final couple of quarters. Arcadius Newman, Eric Galvez, Patrick Wolff there, 1 lap down. P number 9. We've got Jose Maria Lopez, Ronnie Nunez, and Oli Foka rounding out the rest of the finishing results for your LMP1 class. Down to, yeah. Oh, you can do LMP2 as well. It's a small field. Yep, and then we'll move on to our 19-car GTE field. Gianni Vecchio wins that one out with the number 1 machine, and then with the 11, Miko Melkela will get the P number 2. Mark Perez will get P3 with the number 3. So there's a fascinating little bit of thing with the numbers there, the car numbers and the finishing positions. David Jimenez will ruin that by finishing P number 4 with the 18. Carly Jansen will get P number 5 in class for that number 14. Patrick Moser, P number 6. Estros Kioskalu, Bastian Remis, Sergej Matuna, and Jens Grabowski will bring us down towards the end of your top 5. You've got Alex, top 10. You've got Alex Simonich there, P number 29 overall. Xavier Sanchez, Yo Guels, Cedric Nebelstick, Tony Repoussard, Jorge Valls, Aldo Massa, and Giannis Trodakis there towards the back of the field. Jack Sedgwick got taken out very, very early on in this event, which is why he finishes right at the back.
Yeah, indeed. So don't forget, tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, on the iRacing Esports Network, it is the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series here. This track and the battle will continue. Coanda, Redline, the others. Martin Cronke, Gregor Hutu looking for number 6 in the best form he's been in 2.5 years, but it still looks very, very hard to challenge Coanda Simsport. So who will get victory in the next round of the championship? Find out on RaceSpotTV and on the iRacing Esports Network.
Definitely tune in for that one. It's been the one of the best seasons of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series thus far. Let's see if that trend continues on for the next couple of rounds of the season, and maybe we can get a fantastic finish for that one as well. But right now, while we just wait for a couple of drivers to get themselves in for an interview, and just a little bit of a PSA announcement here. When you come into our TeamSpeak, please put your real-life driver name as your TeamSpeak username, because otherwise we don't know who you are.
That's Drew from iRacing.
That is Drew from iRacing. I did not realize. I'm very sorry. I'm fired.
That's fine. It's fine. One thing I will say, of course, the iRacing Esports Network, it is live, Connery, and it's fantastic. We've got ourselves, we've got V8 Online. We've got ourselves live sim racing TV. Hopefully, once I start writing up lots and lots of boring documents, more and more broadcasters are going to be a part of the iRacing Esports Network. And if I am right, it is the first major sim racing company to have their own esports channel. And let's not forget that longer term, I mean, this is a company owned by John Henry, who also owns a TV network. Just saying.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely like that sort of route to be explored a lot more. But esports, very, very big in this day and age, just seems to be getting bigger and bigger with the amount of investment, with the amount of interest from real-life businesses, real-life teams as well. Sports teams getting into esports, racing teams getting into sim racing. It's just a great time to be a part of this industry, and I'm super excited to see where it goes.
And for those of you who think that John Henry doesn't watch sim racing broadcast, oh, he does. Although I got that message the day that Liverpool lost in the Champions League final, so maybe we're a bad omen for them.
Maybe a little bit, but we at the same time take no responsibility for the results of football matches due to these broadcasts. By the way, Belgium won. We're at Spa.
Yep. And I'm drinking a Belgian beer.
It was just written in the stars, Will. It was written in the stars, yeah. And we have to console
But
Hugo
we are
now.
a part Brazilian broadcaster. That's what my worry is. Hugo, we still love you. I mean, also, I booked flights to Brazil recently, so, you know, they won't have a World Cup, but they'll still have me in November. That's the most arrogant thing I think I've ever said. Please wrap up this broadcast. Please.
I will do exactly as Will says, as we went a little bit off track near the end there, but it was a brilliant race there for the iRacing Le Mans Series. Round number 4 from Spa-Francorchamps, and next week we'll be heading to an equally fantastic circuit for endurance racing. We're going to head to Suzuka. See you then.